Must be way high up in the mountains.
Yes, because, right, because Peru is, right, but Peru isn't far from there, and Peru is, I think, where Mount Everest is. I think so. Tibet. No, Tibet.
ये देखा इधर देख
50 tons. The foreman of the railroad, Michael Heaney, said that no rail worker could hope for a finer monument than that. Black Cross Rock will be down on your right side in just a few moments. But it's since receded more than 2 miles back into the valley since the railroad was built. right side. They'd have to hike up every day, bringing all the tools they needed to get to work. Once they got up here, they had to clear off all this rock mountain face so that they could lay the tracks. They'd anchor themselves into the rock with rope, and they would work in teams of 3. Someone would have a sharpened steel rod bit between their legs, and the other 2 would take turns driving that rod bit into the rock face with sledgehammers. As they drilled that hole deep enough, they would fill it with blasting powder, put in a fuse, and light it. Then they would have to swing out of the way just in time as all that rock heaved over the mountain down into the valley below. If we look out the windows on the left side, we see those vertical drilling scars that are left over from construction. This is where they would manually drill those holes using that sharpened steel rod bit and those sledgehammers. They were only being paid about 35 cents an hour to do this work. That's only about $11 an hour today. Not a lot of money, but remember, they had to buy all those supplies to make their way north, so a lot of times people would work for a few days or a few weeks to earn the money they needed, then leave their job at the railroad, buy their supplies, and then try to make their way up to the Klondike. Of 60 miles per hour and temperatures well below 0 degrees. The construction of that bridge, along with all of the other efforts of the 110 miles of railway built from Skagway, Alaska to Whitehorse, Yukon, are the reasons that the American Society of Civil Engineers deemed the entire railroad a historic civil engineering landmark. Now that's a designation we share with some pretty amazing things. Things like the reversal of the Chicago River, the city of Machu Picchu, the Statue of Liberty, the Panama Canal, and many, many other path in the rock face down on our right side in just a moment. Remember, this was meant for 2-way traffic with pack animals. Naturalist John Muir was here during the time, and he said that those stampeders with more enthusiasm than knowledge were struggling like salmon at the pool of a waterfall. In just a few moments, we're going to enter that longer of our tunnels, so we'll be in the dark for about 35 seconds or so. And as we emerge, we'll have a great view of the river on both sides of the train as we cross that bridge. On the left on this misty day, but also up on the right side, we're going to get some wonderful views of these naturally occurring box canyons, or slot canyons as they're known. Now this entire valley was formed by those glaciers during the last major ice age. It would have formed this entire valley and all 90 miles of that fjord called the Lynn Canal that your cruise ship brought you to Skagway on. And as we travel up this side of the valley, this is actually our steepest grade of the railroad. We're doing right at a 4% grade. Now what that means is for every 100 feet forward, we're climbing right at 4 feet in height. Or for another visualization, the wheels of the engine are currently high.
You can come in. Movie.
This next part, right? Now, like I said, if you have any food, leave it aboard. I will defend your PB&J with my life, all right? Now, secondly, we have a couple...
2 more flower towers on the right. Steve does all the planting and all the landscaping in this area by himself, and he is a very busy man. In his spare time, he came up here to the left to an old stump and carved us 5-star Squirrel Hotel. All these bushes are fruit bearing, with the exception of that tall one. Steve brings the plants out of the greenhouse. They sit outside for 2 to 3 weeks to acclimate to the colder weather. If he was to bring them out and plant them right away, they would just perish. We're at our 200-foot elevation. Up above us to the right is a cliff. The cliff has a big chunk off the side of it, and that was caused by the waves eroding it away. This was one seashore here. 10,000 years ago, this land was covered with a mild...
There is gold in this area, okay? Now, if you guys don't figure it out, if you don't really understand why Joe Juno and Richard Harris thought there's gold, that's okay. Okay, it was really tough to be a gold prospector. You hear a lot about the people who, like, you know, struck it rich, but there are many, many people who did not. So I'm going to give you the clues, and we'll see, but don't beat yourselves up too much if it's not obvious, all right? Clue number 1, to see if there was gold in this area. The indigenous peoples wore golden jewelry. Clue number 2. The native peoples, in some cases, had golden threads in their clothing. And clue number 3, possibly the coolest one, is that in some documented cases, the native peoples shot golden bullets from their guns. It's the coolest thing you could do with your gold, and also not a bad consolation prize for the dude getting shot. So, if you looked at all of that and you said, yeah, you know what? I think there might be gold in this area. Good job, you did it, all right? There is gold here, there was tons of it. So Joe Juno and Richard Harris settled down. Situation, okay? You will come up down the center aisle. Now the thing about this door is that it is operated by air, and so you need to have some buttons and things to figure out how to open it up. But in an emergency situation, we have a little workaround, okay? We have a little red knob right at the center of my console, okay? If you push that knob in, it will emit a loud hiss of air. That indicates that the air has been released. So I hope that's what you were intending to be at today. Now, before we get started on all of our incredible Juneau facts, which I know you guys are dying to hear, right? There's something else more exciting, more incredible that we are going to go over first and foremost. Are you ready for the most incredible thing you've ever heard in your entire life? Yes. All right, guys, it's time for my DOT mandated safety speech. Yay! All right, I got some reaction. I appreciate that now. Everybody.
Cái bên này.
Very iniwanan.
Mountains on the right side of the horizon, and we have the Puget Sound in front of us. That was named the Salish Sea after the Native American tribes. You can see West Seattle on the other side. That's where Alki Beach is. If you look to your left, you can see the skyline and also the tip of Mount Rainier, the summit. Up here we have 3 bars and 1 coffee shop, and the revolving glass floor is 1 story down. If you guys want to go and